Montana's spring black bear hunting season begins in less than 2 weeks, and with thousands of black bears in Montana and hundreds of protected grizzlies, it can be challenging sometimes to tell the difference, especially at a split second's notice. That's why hunters are required to pass a black bear identification test before they get a tag.
For hunters who want to participate in that season, they have to take an identification course online to make sure that they know the difference between grizzly bears and black bears, because obviously we do not want to have anybody taking grizzly bears. They're protected species, and black bears, since we have an abundant population, are available to hunt. So we want to make sure that hunters know the difference between those two.
Tabish says bear coloring isn't a reliable way to tell the difference between black bears and grizzlies. He says it's better to tell the difference by their ears. Black bears have tall ears. Grizzly bears have short, rounded ears. Black bears, of course, have no prominent shoulder hump, while grizzlies have that prominent shoulder hump. For more ways to identify the difference between black bears and grizzlies, or to take the free test, you can do that on the FWP's website. You know, a few decades ago, grizzlies were on the brink of extinction. Today, they're not only back, but they're on landscape in places where they haven't been seen for generations. In northwest Montana, we have what's being called the largest population of grizzly bear in the lower 48 states. And Dylan Tabish says the protection of grizzlies under the Endangered Species Act helped the population rebound today to around 1,000. But at one point, he estimates there were just 100 left. He says through the hard work of biologists, wildlife managers, and residents who changed their habits, weatherproofing their food while camping or storing garbage in secure locations or using bear spray makes all the difference. He says everybody came together to preserve grizzlies and create what we're in now, which is a recovered population. But it's been a long road, and it's still unknown what the future holds for grizzly management. The recovery is one of the most amazing conservation success stories ever. Tabish says folks are invited to hear from Rick Mace, a wildlife biologist with Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
So Rick Mace was a longtime bear biologist for Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, and he recently retired. And Rick conducted a lot of seminal research on grizzly bears in western Montana especially. Rick is just an expert on grizzly bears. Really, I'd say one of the foremost experts in the country on grizzly bears. The Bob Marshall Wilderness Foundation has him as one of their featured speakers during their wilderness lecture series.
That recovery of grizzly bears in Montana presentation, 7 o'clock tomorrow night at Flathead Valley Community College. It's free and open to the public thanks to partners like the Montana Wilderness Association and the Northwest chapter of the Forest Fire Lookout Association.